Pitt position previews next on Mark Rogers TV. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, breaking down the game we love each and every day with the best bloggers, broadcasters, and writers in the industry. Help build the channel. Please do your Amazon shopping using the link you see in the description section below. It doesn't cost you an extra penny, and certainly you do not have to buy the product. Just do your Amazon shopping using that link. Please join the voice of college football community over on Patreon as well. We've got a lot of great things in store for you. So we are getting to as many teams as we possibly can. So expect like 40 teams before August that we will break down each position on a number of Power 5 teams, including the Pitt Panthers. We got Jim Hammett on the line from Panther LAIRE. Jim, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Ready to talk some football here in the spring.
I tell you, here we go. So the Pitt Panthers will size up the defense. We'll go through the defense first and start up front, where, of course, you've got to be fortified and strong to try to defend this ACC Coastal Division Championship at 6-2 last year. You lost Dwayne Hendricks. Otherwise, can you size up the D-line for us?
I mean, I think the defensive line for Pitt and really the defense as a whole might start with Rashad WEAVER. He is a redshirt junior defensive end. 2 years ago, played in every game, eventually took over as a starter. Then last year, he started all 14 games at defensive end. He's a big 6'5", 265-pound guy. 14 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks. I mean, he was a pretty productive player. But I think this year, Pitt really wants to see him maybe get to that 10-sack threshold. I mean, he is definitely one of the better defensive ends in the ACC returning. So I think it's just a matter of putting together a full season. So, right there, and, he teams up with at defensive end with Patrick Jones. He would often spell Dwayne Hendricks last year. He's another big, 6'5", 260-pound defensive end out of Virginia. He played some last year. He showed flashes of talent. So he's really going to have to step up and kind of be that second defensive end. So I think they have a good start right there, on the outside. Then, the inside's a little bit of a different story. They have some experience, but there really hasn't been that great defensive tackle at Pitt since Aaron Donald has moved on. They have had some talented players, but the production just hasn't been there. But, I mean, you have a guy like Amir Watts. He's a senior. He's played a lot of football. Keyshawn Camp, redshirt junior, another talented recruit, has had moments but hasn't had a full season. And I know a guy they're excited about, redshirt sophomore Jaylen Twyman out of Washington, D.C. He started to get more and more play as the season went on last year. So they have some depth at defensive tackle, and I think they like their depth. It's just a matter of being productive on the field.
So Patrick Jones, as you mentioned, his contribution is pretty substantial. It's 7 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks. Pat Narduzzi would hope those numbers would climb. Him being basically the second, considered the second best defensive lineman up front. Amir Watts, 3 tackles for loss and a sack, and you mentioned Keyshawn Camp. So this kid was highly touted. Camp with 2.5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks coming out of high school.
Yeah, Keyshawn Camp, I think he was actually committed to USC, and I believe a coaching change kind of led to him being open. So in the end, Pitt had to win out some recruiting battles. I think Michigan was involved, Florida State possibly. I mean, he had some good offers. I think he was an ESPN 4-star, Rivals 3-star. So he has the pedigree. He just really hasn't had a complete season. He's had, good games, but I think Pitt is looking for, more consistency up front.
Yeah, Keyshawn Camp, a top 40 player out of Florida, number 26, a defensive tackle out of Lakeland, which produces a ton of premier college football players. We got Jim Hammett on the line, breaking down Pitt football. We are going position by position, team by team, getting you set for 2019. Please grab the Amazon link to help us build the channel to do your Amazon shopping. That link is down in the description section.